Welcome to SHELO Mystics. If you're a Gemini, this reading is for your love life for the month of July 2026. Remember, these are general tarot readings, so take what resonates with your situation and leave the rest behind. Whether you're single, in a relationship, separated, or in a hope of reconciliation, let's see what the Spirit wants you to know about your love journey this month. Central issue is Four of Cups. Obstacle is Three of Cups. The hidden influence is Queen of Swords. The past is Nine of Cups. The known influence is Eight of Pentacles. Your future is Five of Swords. How do you view yourself is Nine of Pentacles. Your environment is Ten of Pentacles. Your hopes and fears are Seven of Wands. Direction towards you is Tower. The outcome is Five of Wands, and your advice is Knight of Pentacles. Let me pull up clarifiers. The central issue, Four of Cups, the clarifier is Wheel of Fortune and Three of Cups. And the obstacles again. The clarifier is Page of Pentacles and Ace of Swords. Queen of Swords is the hidden influence. And the clarifier is Seven of Swords and Eight of Cups. The past is Nine of Cups, clarified by Fool and Knight of Swords. The known influence is Eight of Pentacles, clarified by Two of Wands and World. Future is Five of Swords, clarified by Ten of Pentacles and Ten of Swords. How do you view yourself? Nine of Pentacles, clarified by Sun and Nine of Wands. Your environment, Ten of Pentacles, clarified by Three of Wands and Strength. Your hopes and fears, Seven of Wands, clarified by Nine of Pentacles and Two of Cups. Direction towards you is Tower, clarified by Four of Pentacles and Four of Cups. The outcome is Five of Wands, clarified by Judgment and Knight of Pentacles, and the advice is Knight of Pentacles, clarified by Eight of Swords and King of Pentacles. Gemini, let's begin with your reading. The central energy for your reading sets the tone for everything else that has to follow. So the heart of the reading, we have Four of Cups. So the Four of Cups tells me that there is a sense of dissatisfaction with your current situation. It almost feels like you're looking at everything that is happening around you and thinking, this isn't what I wanted. There is emotional discontentment here. Something has shifted. And because of that shift, you're finding it difficult to appreciate whatever is currently being offered to you at this point. It speaks about the missed opportunities, but in this particular spread, I don't feel it's about the missed opportunity here. I feel it's more about not being emotionally satisfied with the present circumstances, whatever is happening around you. Whatever is happening around you, whether this is a relationship, situationship, or a separation, a Wheel of Fortune here, you can see all the four elements that is present here. Air, fire, water, and earth element, all of them are present here. This tells us it's very interesting that life itself is changing. The circumstances are moving beyond your control, whether you like it or not. The wheel is turning. When the wheel turns, everyone involved has to move with it. So, for many of you, July may feel like things have changed drastically over the last few months, or it may almost seem as though one situation after another is unfolding without you having to without you having enough time to process everything. The Wheel of Fortune here reminds us that certain cycles are ending and new ones are beginning. Sometimes we want things to remain exactly as they were, but the life does not allow that. The wheel tells us that the change is inevitable. Whether the change is positive or or challenging depend entirely on how you respond to it. So what's interesting is that despite this massive change of energy, you're still sitting in the Four of Cups energy. Emotionally, you'll find it difficult to embrace whatever the changes are taking place. Now, Three of Cups, clarifying the Four of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune, the energy changes. It's almost feels like whatever is being offered is not enough. Maybe someone reaches out, maybe some conversation do happen. It's about the people around you supporting you. Maybe the circumstances improve slightly. Yet emotionally, something inside you continues to say, this isn't solving the actual problem. That's why I feel the dissatisfaction is much deeper than what it appears at the surface. For some Geminis, that could also be a situation where everyone around you thinks things are getting better, and internally, you know, the foundation of this relationship hasn't actually changed much. So, you are looking beyond temporary happiness, you're looking beyond the surface level conversation. You're asking yourself whether this relationship genuinely has what it takes to move forward, or it is something that when it has already ended, you're kind of wondering what to be done next. This itself has not served your purpose. The obstacle is also the Three of Cups. It's the repeating energy. Whenever the spirit repeats the cards in the same spread, it immediately catches my attention because the repetition always strengthens the message here. The Three of Cups appears as a clarifier to your central issue. Now it appears again as the obstacles itself. This tells me that relationship communication, emotional exchanges, social circle, or reconciliation becomes one of the biggest themes throughout July. But why is this becoming an obstacle? We see this through the Page of Pentacles here. Instead of rushing towards a conclusion, you're observing, you're learning, you're trying to understand, you're paying attention to people's actions instead of simply believing their words. So, this isn't about somebody who will act impulsively. The page studies before investing, learns before committing, observes before trusting things around. That's exactly energy I feel many of you carrying into the July. You're trying to make sense of everything that has happened or unfolding right in front of you. You're trying to understand whether something meaningful can still be built or how to navigate this. Can this relationship actually grow? Is this become stable? Can both of you work towards the same future? Or because this is something that needs to be addressed. Ace of Swords as a clarifier strengthens this position because before anything can move forward, there has to be clarity, there has to be truth and honest communication. You simply don't want to promise anymore or less listen to anybody's promise. You want actions that supports the words. You want clarity regarding where exactly this relationship is heading. You want to understand whether both of you are genuinely working towards the same future. Without that clarity, this becomes extremely difficult to invest emotionally. That's why the Three of Cups becomes an obstacle because although there is an emotional exchange may still exist, though the conversation may still happen, although the reconciliation may even be possible for some of you, try to understand the difference between the temporary happiness and the long term stability. A conversation isn't the same as accountability here, and an apology isn't the same as a changed behavior. The cards are asking you to look deeper. Something else that immediately stands out in this connection is the central issue and the obstacle. This is the Four of Cups dissatisfaction, Three of Cups being repeating twice, and Page of Cups you're observing and you're seeking clarity. And the hidden influence is a Queen of Swords. The energy is operating behind the scene, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. The Queen of Swords tells me that you have reached a point where you no longer make a decision purely from emotion. So, this is someone who's learned through experience. There is a boundary that you have already established because you have realized that protecting your peace is equally as important as protecting your relationship. The Seven of Swords here suggests there is an avoidance. This could be some situation where honesty was lacking, a conversation were avoided, or you had to only keep on guessing what is happening. You felt that like somebody wasn't being completely transparent. Whatever the circumstances, this has made you much more conscious in the way you approach this connection. Emotionally, you have started distancing yourself from the situation that no longer serves you. The situation necessarily means this does not physically mean that you have physically walked away, but emotionally you have become much more aware of what deserves your energy and what does not. So you are evaluating everything from a practical perspective now instead of reacting immediately. You're observing, you're trying to understand whether continue this connection actually serves your highest good. And in the past, we have Nine of Cups. So this shows that there were a time you genuinely felt this was emotionally fulfilling. You were happy with the direction things were taking, and there was a sense of satisfaction with this connection. So the Fool here tells me the relationship began with an optimism. There was excitement about where things could go and what you were willing to take, and you were willing to take a leap of faith because you believed there is a potential in this connection. What further amplifies is the energy. There were passion, attraction, movement, enthusiasm. This may have progressed quickly, and there were a strong desire from one or both of you to explore this relationship further. You genuinely believe there was something worth investing in, which is why the present situation feels so different from where things were once. And the known influence is the Eight of Pentacles. This represents that you're consciously aware and actively working towards. You have always understood the healthy relationship requires effort. You never expected things to happen overnight. Instead, you were willing to invest your time and energy into something, build something meaningful. The Two of Wands here talks about that you have been planning ahead. You have been thinking about the future, considering whether the relationship can grow into something long term. And the World card here talks about you're seeking completion, that you want things to move towards a meaningful milestone instead of remaining uncertain. So, whether that is about a commitment, reconciliation, or simply looking for clarity to find or to bring a resolution. So, you understand that relationship requires work, but at the same time, you're also looking at the kind of a progress. Don't want to remain stuck in the same cycle forever. And in the near future, this unfortunately tells me that there is conflict that needs to be addressed. There may be disagreements, misunderstanding, conversations that can become emotionally exhausting. It feels like both of you are trying to protect yourself, making it difficult to find a common ground. What is interesting is that the clarifier tells a bigger story here. The Ten of Pentacles, despite everything that has happened, the stability is somewhat is you kind of deeply desire. You still want commitment, security, and relationship that has long term potential. However, the Ten of Swords here reminds us that before that stability can exist, something has to end. This could be an unhealthy pattern, repeated misunderstandings that we see here, or the two of you, the way both of you have been communicating with each other, whatever it is, the old way of handling this relationship cannot continue. If the reconciliation is going to happen, it cannot happen by repeating the same cycle. Something has to change first. That's why I feel like this Five of Swords isn't simply showing a conflict, it kind of shows the conflict that forces both of you to confront what is not working anymore before any real stability can achieve. And let's see, how do you view yourself in this situation? It tells me that you have reached a stage where you understand your own worth. You're no longer looking for a relationship simply for the sake of being in one. You want something that complements your life rather than completes it. You have worked hard to build yourself emotionally, mentally, financially for many of you. So, because of that, you're no longer willing to settle for something that constantly leaves you questioning your value. It clarifies that despite everything that you have been through, there is still hope within you. Deep down, you still believe that happiness is possible. You still see that there can be improvement, whether this is within the relationship, through, or completely new chapter. So, Nine of Wand here tells me that you have been emotionally guarding, fought many hurdles, overcome them, and you have been disappointed, but you haven't completely given up. You're protecting yourself while kind of remaining open to the possibilities that can eventually become better. So, although you appear stronger on the outside, you're still carrying the emotional exhaustion here, and whatever comes next is should be worth all the effort that you've already put into this. So, your environment. So, looking at the environment surrounding you, the Ten of Pentacles here tells me that stability continues to be remain to be the main agenda or most important influence around you, whether it comes through family values, long-term commitments, or simply your expectations from the relationship. So, you're looking for something that lasts. And Three of Wands here tells me you are waiting. You're waiting to see how things will unfold. You're waiting to see whether your efforts produce result. See, here we see that you see the sense of betrayal also. But irrespective of whatever has been there, but you're trying to seek clarity before you make the next move. So it also feels like you've already done everything you could do, but now you're allowing time to reveal things. You're not rushing into fixing it, addressing it, or to fight for it. So patience is becoming one of your biggest lessons during the month July. The strength does not ask you to suppress your emotion. Instead, it asks you to respond with maturity rather than reacting impulsively. Sometimes the strongest decision isn't chasing an answer, it is to allow people to reveal who they are through their actions. And the hopes and fears we see, looking at the hopes and fears here, we have the Seven of Wands. I feel like this position beautifully captures your inner conflict. On one hand, you're working hard to establish your boundaries here. You have learned difficult lessons. You have been protecting your emotional well being, guarding yourself, but at the same time, you're wondering how you can continue standing your ground. So, the Seven of Wands speaks volumes about will you eventually become tired of constantly defending yourself? We see the Nine of Pentacles here again. It reinforces your desire to maintain your independence. You don't want to lose yourself within a relationship. You don't want to compromise your self respect simply to make something work. The Two of Cups here shows there is a greatest hope. Despite everything, you still want love. You still want mutual understanding. You still want a relationship where both people equally invest in one another. So your greatest fear isn't alone being alone. Your greatest fear is losing yourself while trying to preserve a relationship. So your greatest hope is finding someone with whom love and independence can coexist. So that's a fair ask, but then you should be aware of what you're looking for and what is their action towards you. So it tells me that something significant has already shifted in this connection. Some of you may have, it talks about separation, others it's an argument or an unexpected change or circumstances that completely have altered the direction of this relationship. So whatever happens, this has shaken the very foundation upon which the connection was built. Again, we do see the Four of Cups here and the Four of Pentacles. This tells me about someone holding back. The Four of Pentacles, something is being withheld. Either it's your person or being emotionally reserved, being hesitant, holding back information, or emotions, or this is reluctant to fully express what is going on internally. And the Four of Cups here, this tells me that there is emotional dissatisfaction on their side as well. So it's almost feels like both the people are recognizing that something isn't working, yet neither of you fully addressing the deeper issue here. So, from your perspective, it may feel like, although you're holding on to the relationship while simultaneously you're protecting yourself from the further disappointment. So, irrespective of what you want from this connection, what you're currently receiving is different from what you expect, and that difference has naturally shaken your confidence. So, whether this relationship or where exactly is this headed, and the outcome we see the Five of Wands here. So there are unresolved issue that needs to be addressed. So that requires patience from both of you to understand, and simply this cannot be ignored any longer. Eventually, the decision has to be made. There comes a point where both of you must have to evaluate this connection honestly, whether they are making the changes that required to move forward. It tells me the Knight of Pentacles here talks about whether this decision is gonna be made. It shouldn't be rushed. You will have to take your time, observe, evaluate carefully before deciding your next step. This is no longer about making an emotional decision, this is about making a wise decision here. What is the advice for you? It reinforces again. We see this Knight of Pentacles here. So it's repeating again, it's asking you not to rush into anything. Allow the situation to unfold naturally, observe the actions rather than the words. The Eight of Swords kind of reminds you that you may be feared, like you may become trapped by fear, overthinking, or limiting belief. So even if there is a separation, your inability to move on, you will still lingering, waiting, hoping that there is a reconciliation. See, this largely their action kind of talks about things that can shake you up. So then, because of that, you kind of feel trapped here. Sometimes you end up convincing yourself that, wherever you're stuck, what is the reality, and you don't have any more choices. You don't tend to realize what is really happening around you because find yourself helpless and blindfolded. So don't go about convincing yourself that, you're stuck when in reality you have more choices than you realize. So the King of Pentacles here as a clarifier reminds us that you're ultimately looking for stability, consistency, security, sometimes whose actions can match their words. So if reconciliation is also an option being presented to you, if you're hoping for, allow it to happen gradually. Do not ignore what you have learned. So you have been through so much issues, the sense of being betrayed, and opposing thoughts and dismantling the idea of bringing the stability in the family life. It's not simple. Do not ignore whatever things that you have been through. Do not compromise your standards simply because you want somebody to return. So don't keep on pondering. At the end of the day, you know your value, what you are, what you want to be doing. So these are something that you have to keep in mind. Choose the path that can bring you stability rather than temporary emotional comfort as of now. If any relationship that does not serve you, that kind of tests your patience, drops your peace of mind, it's always good to let go of things. Thank you very much for listening to me. If you guys feel, if this reading resonated with you, please do leave your comment. Let me know how do you relate to this reading. I hope this serves you as a guidance. Take care of yourself, monitor your emotion, and don't let anybody's incompetence, shortcomings kind of make you wonder. Thank you for being with me here today. I hope this helps you. And if you do, please like, share, and subscribe this video and share it with somebody who needs to hear this message. Until next time, take care.